The 2023 NFL Draft is just a little over a month away. So today, I am going to do just my second mock draft of the season. And I'm going to try to predict what's going to happen. Now, I've never been great at it, so I don't know how many picks I'm going to get right, but you never know. I could go perfect. We'll see. But I'm going to keep this intro short. 200 likes and I will do another one of these. It'll let me know y'all are enjoying these. And subscribe for more. Also subscribe to the main channel. But without further ado, let's get right into this. Now with the first pick, we're going JJ McCarthy. No, we're going Caleb Williams. I'm not even gonna talk about that one. And at number 2, a pretty obvious second pick that people have talked themselves into not being obvious is Drake May here. I mean, maybe they don't do it. Maybe there's a chance they don't, but they should. The Commanders obviously desperately need a quarterback, and I think Drake May is the second best one. I think he's pretty underrated at this point, or overhated. I will say that offensive line isn't great, and it might not be the best situation to throw a rookie quarterback into, but he hasn't exactly had the best teams at North Carolina as of late, so we might be used to it. And this is where it gets interesting. Those first two are kind of chalk. I guess the Commanders could go Jaden Daniels or something at 2. I don't think they should, but they could. But at number 3, this is where stuff gets interesting. We could definitely go Jaden Daniels, but I just don't know if this roster is ready for that. It is definitely better than last year's roster, assuming health, you know. But I mean, they just don't have a great receiver. This offensive line could be pretty bad again. I don't know if I want to throw a quarterback in there, but they might. Teams definitely get quarterback hungry, whether they're, ready for it or not. So we're going to go Jaden Daniels. I like Jaden Daniels a lot. He did have a lot of help at LSU, but I still think he did very well. And I definitely think he would be worth that third pick. And a pretty obvious pick here at number 4, Marvin Harrison. Nothing too controversial yet. Number 5, could go Joe Alt, but this receiving core, let me show it, if you don't already know what it is. It is Quentin Johnston, Josh Palmer, and Darius Davis. We are taking Malik Neighbors. Enough said. Now at number 6, another very interesting pick. I honestly thought Darren Waller retired. I heard he was going to, and then I thought I saw a story that he did. Maybe he hasn't yet. I don't know. This offense is horrible. Oh my God. Holy shit, dude. I don't know what to do here. I didn't realize it was this bad. I mean, it should be better than last year, but I still don't think this is going to be a great offense. We're either going to take Joe Alt, Rome Odunze, or Brock Bowers. That might be kind of crazy, though. But if Darren Waller does retire, they're going to have a need there. And he is a good player. It's just how much do you value tight end? But he's more of a receiver, too. I don't know. This is a tough one. Let's just go Rome Odunze. They don't really have a great receiver, and this could be their opportunity at that, so we'll take him. A little rich for me. I don't love Rome Odunze at like 6, but I did it, so whatever. And then the Titans, we're going Joe Alt. Like, if he falls to here, we're taking him. No brainer. Now the Falcons at number 8. Where do they have? They have Dallas Turner all the way down at 16. I mean, we're going to take him here. PFF has some interesting ratings. Some of these back here are fine. They have Peyton Wilson ranked 20. That's fair. Peyton Wilson is really good, but that's different. I'm also surprised they have Cooper DeJean this high. But for the Bears at number 9, this is kind of a tough one too. What is this doing? Oh, it picks. Okay, that's interesting. If Rome Odunze was still here, you could think about that. I mean, it would be a loaded receiving core, but Keenan Allen's a little older, but obviously Rome Odunze isn't still available. Could go edge, but do we want to go Jared Verse this early? We could go defensive tackle. We could go Byron Murphy at 9. That might be a little bit goofy. That's where they have him ranked though, but I won't say I disagree. I just don't see that happening, but maybe. Where do they have Jared Verse? 17. That's fair. Let's do it. Jared Verse. Welcome to the Bears. This edge group isn't great. I mean, Montez Sweat is good. DeMarcus Walker's okay. And I like Jacob Martin, but he's definitely more of a third or even fourth pass rusher. So we'll make him the third here by adding Jared Verse. Bit early, but this definitely could be a trade down spot too, depending on how the board falls. I just don't like doing trade downs that much because they're super hard to predict. Now the Jets at number 10. I did a little test mock draft and I gave them Brock Bowers. I haven't seen that mocked a whole lot though, but it fills a need and he's a good player. I think the best player left on the board. I also like Byron Murphy. I like Quinyon Mitchell. They have Olu Fashanu all the way down at 18. Damn. But yeah, anyways, we're going to take Brock Bowers. Could also go a tackle if we want to play for the future, but we're not going to do that when Aaron Rodgers is 40 years old. So we'll go Brock Bowers. Try to be as good as possible possible right now. Tight end isn't listed as a need for them? I might disagree. But the Vikings at number 11, we are gonna go JJ McCarthy. I'm not the biggest JJ McCarthy fan just because, like, I realize he could be very good. It's just he wasn't asked to do a lot at Michigan. And I don't know if you take a player with that many unknowns this high, but I would still like it if the Vikings did that, so I kind of take that back immediately. A ton of potential there, so why not? And now the Broncos at number 12. This is a maybe Bo Nix landing spot. He would be a very good fit there. He apparently doesn't get picked that high, but this could also be like the first, second tier of receivers taken, like the Brian Thomas, A.D. Mitchell. Where is... What? They have Xavier Worthy down at 68. They have him right next to Tez Walker. I'm not a very big Tez Walker fan. They have Jalen Polk above Xavier. What the fuck? I mean, Worthy's film wasn't the best, but with that kind of speed, I think that's a first-round pick. I'm not saying I'm going to take it here, obviously, but that's... I didn't know they had Worthy that low. Damn. Ooh, their corner group is not great outside of Pat Surtain. Should this be a corner pick? I don't know what to do here. I see so many different things mocked for this team. Could we go Cooper DeJean? That would make... They have Riley Moss. I guess both of the Iowa white corners. Should we... The more I think about that, the more that makes sense. This is going to be a controversial-ass pick, but sure, why not? Cooper DeJean to the Broncos. That's a crazy pick, but kind of makes sense. Kind of makes sense. Now, the Raiders at number 13. Another team that very, very well could go corner. I might take Terrion Arnold here. We could also go offensive line, though. That's the thing. Could put Talise Fuaga at guard or try Troy Fatanu. I'm not saying either of them have to be guards, but they both could play guard. It's either that or Terrion Arnold. You know, I'll go the more exciting pick. We'll go Terrion Arnold. I'm realizing we still have Fashanu on the board. I feel like he's going to go a little bit before, I don't know, maybe in this range, but he doesn't really make sense with any of these teams, so I don't know. But he does make sense with the New Orleans Saints, so we are going to take him here. Trevor Penning has been horrible, got benched last year, and left tackle, obviously very important position. Their receiving core is disgusting. They signed Stanley Morgan. Someone said on Twitter, the Saints cap space is so bad they hired a bank. That's crazy. So yeah, we could go receiver for them, I guess, but left tackle, man. Honestly, the left side of their line. I like James Hurst more at... What if they just flip these two? I feel like James Hurst is better at tackle. Penning, how tall is he? He's 6'7". Okay, I don't know about 6... Well, they they did just have Andres Pete at guard for like 8 years for God knows what reason. Fuck it, flip those two. But no, we'll take Olu Fashanu if he's still there. Byron Murphy's kind of slipping, but I haven't really found a good landing spot for him. A team probably could trade up, but we'll see. But the Colts at 15. I mean, this secondary sucks, dude. This secondary is awful. Could also go receiver, but like... the secondary is a lot worse. Let's go Quinion Mitchell. I'm a big fan, borderline my CB1. I like him a lot. I know small school Toledo. He looked good against good competition. If you're from a small school and you don't look good when you play good competition, then that's a concern. But if you do, then what's the concern? I don't know. But the Seahawks at number 16. This might be my one trade back. Why are the Rams the team suggested? The Vikings, I would be interested in that pick. But what would they trade up for? That's my only thing. Maybe Byron Murphy. Oh, this guard group is terrible. Yeah, Byron Murphy could be a good pick here. You know what? We'll do that. Byron Murphy. I don't know. We'll go 16 for... This trade is lopsided. For which team? Oh, I see. All right. I don't really care about trade value. We're just going to trade back for whatever. We'll force it. How do I get... Oh, this site confuses me. Let's go with Byron Murphy. It's not a terrible D-line, but I mean, again, I really like Byron Murphy. I think he's one of the 10 best players in this class. This was mostly about the trade back, but it does make sense for the Vikings. I don't think they would give up their second and third this year to do that because they have other needs, but again, trade value is irrelevant there. I just wanted to move back. But for the Jags at 17, this might be another corner pick. I feel like some of these guys should have gone by now, the tackles, but again, I feel like a lot of teams are actually decent at tackle through this range, other than, you know, the Saints where we took a tackle. Again, one of these guards could go to the Vikings if they did trade up. It just depends. Either one of those would make sense. But for the Jags, let's give them Nate Wiggins. This also isn't a team with a lot of massive needs, so we'll just plan for the future here. I mean, Ronald Darby is pretty decent, but I don't know, but he probably only signed a one-year deal. I guess it could could be a 2-year, but we'll go with Nate Wiggins here to be the eventual corner opposite of Tyson Campbell. And now the Bengals at number 18. They're kind of like the Seahawks here, where they've just been ignoring their interior O-line no matter how bad it is. I mean, it's not bad anymore, but it isn't great. But we will go with one of the guard versatile tackles here in Talise Fuaga. It's going to be a massive offensive line with Orlando Brown, Trent Brown, and now Talise Fuaga, but it should be a pretty good one. And now the Rams at number 19. Edge isn't listed as a need for them. Did they sign one and I'm just forgetting? No. Why is that not listed as a need? But corner is? I mean, kinda, but we're going to go with Laiatu Latu. I am a massive fan of him. He just isn't like the craziest athlete ever, but I've said this about him before. If a player is already super good, then I'm not worried about upside necessarily. Like, because if there is a player with a lot of upside, a lot of potential, a lot of athleticism, then you're trying to develop him into a good player. But if you can get a player who's already good, then what's the point? I mean, I guess obviously you want a player who's very athletic and an insane player already, but it's not like Latu's a bad athlete either. He's a pretty decent athlete. It's just he's not anything insane, but he is a damn good pass rusher, so we'll take him. Now the Steelers at number 20. I kind of struggled with this one. I gave him A.D. Mitchell, which is interesting, but I think could kind of work. But Brian Thomas is also still available here. They only gave him a 74 grade. That's tough. I mean, a 74 isn't terrible, but my only thing is he would be a little redundant with George Pickens. I mean, not necessarily redundant, but two similar-ish players. I mean, Brian Thomas is more of a deep threat, like great speed. All right, I'm overthinking it. Let's just take Brian Thomas. He's a very good player. Sounds good. Very well could go off the board before this pick, but you can make the same case for a lot of players here. It's just players slip sometimes. I wouldn't really call 20 a slip for Brian Thomas, but I'm just saying he could go higher. But the Dolphins at number 21. I actually went with Byron Murphy in the last one of these I did, my test one, but we had him go off the board a little earlier here. So we could go Jerzon Newton, Johnny Newton, but this line still sucks. It's still a bad offensive line. And the D-line isn't great, but it isn't terrible, and they invested in a lot of depth players, that's for sure. So maybe they'll find something in one of them, but ooh, we could go Jackson Powers-Johnson. Either him or Troy Fautanu. I guess we also could have gone Jackson Powers-Johnson for the Steelers. I didn't even think of that, but I do like Jackson Powers-Johnson more than Troy Fautanu. I don't know who's going to go first, though. I don't love Aaron Brewer, but apparently they like him, so we'll go Troy Fautanu. I could see any of those top 3 guys with Jerzon Newton, Jackson Powers-Johnson, or Troy Fautanu. But the Eagles at number 22. Let's go with a corner here. We could go Kool-Aid. Is this a little... Here's the thing. I like Kool-Aid McKinstry a lot, but I know a lot of people don't because, you know, he's not the most athletic. But again, if you're good, you're good. I know that's a little more iffy with corners because the athleticism compared with the NFL compared to college is different, but it's not like Kool-Aid's a terrible athlete. This would be kind of a goofy pick. It's either that or receiver. How crazy do we want to get here? What are we thinking about Xavier Worthy? I don't know about that one, but it might be kind of fun. Although we do know they love their guard and D-line, and they love to go best player available, so one of these two could be in play. Corner sucks for them, though. This is a difficult one. Another pick here where there could be an argument made for these top 2 guys. We'll go Kool-Aid out of desperation, though. What a weird sentence. But now the Seahawks at number 23. Very well could and probably will trade down again, but I have this sick, twisted feeling in my gut that the Seahawks are going to go Junior Colson in the first round. I mean, they took Jordan Brooks in the first round. He was seen as like a 3rd-round prospect. That actually ended up kind of working out, but we just know the Seahawks don't value the trenches. They don't value O-line or D-line. So what I would do is I probably would have stuck at 16 and taken either Fautanu or Fuaga or hell, even Jackson Powers-Johnson. I would be fine with that at 16 over what they're probably going to do in the later first. I love being a Seahawks fan if you couldn't tell. I really hope I'm wrong, and I really hope they do go offensive line. Let me show y'all something if you don't know. Their 2 starting guards. I love to bring this up because not even that many Seahawks fans talk about it. Do you want to see their interior O-line? Tremaine Ankrum at left guard, Olu Oluwatimi at center, and Anthony Bradford at right guard, who I thought was a reach in the 4th round last year, and was not very good as a rookie, especially in pass protection. While I'm on PFF, I'm kind of interested to see what Anthony Bradford's pass blocking grade was. Yeah, that's about right. That's worse than I thought it would be. A fucking 38. I mean, PFF isn't great, but if they usually say something is bad, it's usually bad. And if they say something's good, it's usually pretty good. Most of the time. Well, sometimes. But I usually do trust when they say something's pretty terrible. So we definitely should go interior O-line here, but they won't. I mean, I hope they do. I hope I'm wrong again. But if we don't go O-line, what the hell do we do? They're going to take a safety. No, they signed 2. They might not. I'm going to manifest this. I'm going to hope they do it. I mean, Jackson Powers Johnson probably won't be available here, but we're trying to manifest it. Welcome to the team. That's not going to happen, but I hope. I hope. But the Cowboys at 24, I think we're going to go receiver. Is this where we take Xavier Worthy? I mean, I think Xavier Worthy is going to go in the first round. I just don't know where. Let's just go with A.D. Mitchell here. They do have their fair share of needs, especially guard, too. A lot of teams need guard, but it is a pretty deep-ish guard class. I honestly like all these guys throughout here. Shout out Christian Mahogany. He commented on one of my videos once. That was kind of cool. But yeah, we'll go A.D. Mitchell for the Cowboys. And for the Packers at 25, let's go Jerzon Newton. I mean, just best player available. They make some questionable first-round picks at times, but we'll give them a good one there, hopefully, in Jerzon Newton. And then the Buccaneers at number 26. Speaking of terrible guard situations, Sua Opeta and Cody Mauch. Not great. Even at center, I mean, Robert Hainsey's okay, but that's not a great guard group. Who's the best edge available? Chris Braswell. I like Chop Robinson more than Chris Braswell. I like Jonah Ellis. Let's go Chop Robinson here. Again, maybe a goofy pick. Joe Tryon's been like okay, but not worth the first round pick they spent on him. Yaya Diaby was good last year, but you know, you're not going to take edge, or you're not going to not take edge just because of that. So we'll go Chop Robinson. And now the Cardinals coming down to the end here at 27. This also very well could be a corner spot, like I guess Kamari Lassiter or something, or Ennis Rakestraw. I'm not the biggest Rakestraw fan, but he's pretty good. This could be a trade down spot if the board does fall like this for them. I don't know if there's anyone here worth it for them. We could go Zach Frazier, I guess, or Graham Barton. Might go Graham Barton. I mean, their O-line definitely isn't bad, but I think Jonah Williams was only a 1 year. You know, because of that, we could also go JC Latham. Yeah, well, feels like a weird pick because they did just take Paris Johnson, but I mean, you need 2 tackles. Fuck it. Let's go JC Latham here. Definitely build in the future even more and more. But the Bills at number 28, we could go Amarius Mims. We could also go, they do have a decent bit invested in their receiving core. We could go Xavier Worthy. I want to take Xavier Worthy somewhere. This would be a weird pick, but I mean, there are rumors of them trading Stephon Diggs. That's such a weird pick though. That would be such a, I just feel like I need to take Xavier Worthy somewhere pick compared to me actually thinking they would do it. Let's just go Amarius Mims. I mean, this O-line definitely hasn't been great. The Lions at number 29, they did lose, not Jackson Barton, Jonah Jackson. I don't know why I couldn't think of his name. So we will immediately replace him with Graham Barton. Their guard group isn't the worst, but this is just a team that doesn't have a lot of needs. Could also go outside corner, but they did just trade for Carlton Davis, so Then the Ravens at number 30, I mean, if he falls all the way down here somehow, again, I don't think he will. I think some team will either trade up for him or just pick him. But if he does, Xavier Worthy to the Ravens could be insane. He only has a 68 grade. I don't know if I agree with that, but yeah, we'll add him to the Ravens there. Now, last 2 picks here, the 49ers at number 31. We need to go O-line for this team. I'm not a very big Tyler Guyton fan. Neither is PFF, but he has a lot of upside. I feel like this would be a team that would be better suited with a more technically refined guy, I guess. But I mean, O-line is just one of those positions where I don't really care about upside, just giving me the already good player. But if we're going off of what could happen, we'll go Tyler Guyton. And then last pick, the Kansas City Chiefs at number 32. They also pretty, not desperately, but they probably need tackle. Wanya Morris was okay, but Jawan Taylor wasn't great. Could also go receiver, but I like the signing of of Marquise Brown. They have Rashee Rice. And maybe you can get something eventually from like either Sky Moore, Kadarius Toney, Justin Ross, I guess. I don't know. It's going to sound crazy that I said maybe you can get something from Kadarius Toney, but if he could actually catch the ball, I think he would be a very good receiver. Let's go with Jordan Morgan as our last pick. So I'm sure people are going to hate some of the picks I made. It always happens. People are going to disagree, and that's fine. And I don't know how many of these are actually going to happen. Some of these players could go much later, much earlier. We just don't know. But hopefully I got at least a couple right, at least a few. I would assume some of these are right up here. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. This was a lot of fun. Let me know what you thought of your team's pick, respectfully, of course. And again, 200 likes and I'll do another one of these. But thank you all so much for watching. And with that, I will see y'all again in the next video. Goodbye.